This is our post observation, and before we went over sort of a goal setting and our strategies, and we were hoping to gain increasing instructional strategies during our lesson to
Right.
help improve student engagement. Now, when I came in today, this of course is our post observation, and when I came in today, I saw that you were teaching the 10 amendments, and you were going over with them those 10 by PowerPoint. I came in, all students were in their desks, seated. How do you think that part of the lesson, the opening lesson, went?
I think most students seem to be engaged and were on task.
Now, do you feel that all students were familiar with the topic, or do you think you needed to analyze that
Well, the
more?
previous day I did a KWL chart, so I did know that there were a couple of students. They, of course, prior knowledge was in eighth grade. This was taught to them also then. But I did notice that a couple of my students were struggling with the terminology and language, and those are my ESOL students. So I had a sheet for them that I gave them to kind of help with that terminology, a resource for them to use to familiarize them with terminology.
Yes, I noticed that a few of them had their terms on the desk
Yes,
and were
that's
following
correct.
along, and
That's
you had
correct.
them in order for them, so that was
Yes.
pretty cool. They seemed to follow along with that. Um, Now, during that, it's always hard to engage most of them, and you're not sure where they're at. How do you feel that you can improve that maybe during your opening, during the lecture part?
There may be some different things that I might do with the PowerPoint to make it a little bit more interesting and keep them engaged in that, because I know that that can be boring at times for this age group. I definitely think that letting them do some group work and dividing up in the classroom and working together, keeping them moving around and not just sitting idle, definitely would help with that.
Right, we talked about a few of those in the pre-observation, I believe.
Right.
But I saw that you were trying the tickets when you saw somebody on task and paying attention, answering questions. Did that seem to help to you? Do you think that's a good
It
strategy?
does. I think it really did help a lot, and I've noticed that I've used that in several other lessons that I've taught here lately, and that does seem to be a good strategy to use.
Now, how do you feel that we could improve instruction as far as when the students are off task?
I think definitely sometimes noticing what they're doing right instead of what they're not doing. Sometimes maybe not concentrating on those that are not working with their group as well, but concentrate on those that are doing a good job. I found that that definitely helps. And another thing is just making sure that you supply or give them opportunities to consistently be engaged and moving around and working and talking together, instead of just sitting and watching you.
Right. And I noticed the lesson was about 10 minutes, and then of course you went into the group activity. Um, how did you go about grouping those? Did you group them by random, or did you pull them?
No, I actually knew which ones may need a little bit of extra support, especially those that I knew were not familiar with the terminology, that may have struggled with it a little bit in the previous year. And with doing my KWL chart, I discovered which ones probably needed that extra help. So that helped me grouping maybe some high students with lower students so they would have that extra support.
Right. Yeah, that seems to help a lot when you can do that. Also, we talked about maybe next time we could try doing the buddy clock. And I think we talked about that before.
Right.
The buddy clock just helps rotate people around and gets them used to working with other people.
Right.
That might be a good strategy we could try next time.
Okay.
Let's see. Now, once they were in groups, I see that you gave them different scenarios, and they had to answer those questions.
Yes, that is correct. And you know, there was a lot, there is definitely a lot to the 10 amendments. So to keep them from getting distracted or off task, I kind of gave each of them different groups a different scenario for them to cover, maybe one or two. Some of the groups I knew might could only handle one with the discussion, and then Some I might give two different scenarios for them to discuss and talk about.
And I like that because it's they were also getting from their groups and their peers, and it wasn't all coming from me.
Right.
That was a very good idea. As far as what kind of, we are in alternative school, so we have a lot of behavior issues. And I was wondering if there's any kind of strategies as far as keeping them engaged that you would.
Well, our school has currently been using the Dojo system, which has definitely helped a lot, I've noticed, with behavior issues. Those students enjoy, just like students that are in
The lower grades.
the lower grades or the higher grades, or those that are performing or behaving like they're supposed to, but they like to be recognized for the things that they're doing right, and so that's a very positive way to encourage them to make good choices, and that's definitely worked for our school.
There was another strategy that I saw that another teacher was using that was a really good idea, especially with at-risk students. They would give the students a number by their station or at their desk, and they would go around and have the numbers in a bag, and then if at the end of the class they would shake the bag, pull out a number, and if that student at that number at that desk was on task, then they would get an award like at the end of the week, like say Friday, or they would gain like 10 points a day, and if they ended up with 40 points, they would be able to have the special activity on Friday. So that might be a good way to keep them focused on task.
Right.
And you don't know who you're pulling, so they sort of try to stay on task.
Right. I definitely think that would be something I would like to try.
Right. Let's see. As far as assessments, how do you think you could assess these students?
Well,
did you do like
a great way today, just walking around and monitoring the class and listening to their conversation and being able to, tell that they understood what we were talking about. In the end, after everyone had discussed it with their partner or their group, then they had an opportunity to share out with the class. So that was kind of an informal assessment for me to see who had a good understanding for it and who did not.
Yes, I missed that part of it. I had to leave. There was also something I think we discussed last time, and it was about how they could keep a journal, and that could be a way to keep them engaged during the beginning of the lesson. Like if you could just have a journal every day and they would get so many points on their test. I'd like to see how that worked, and if that worked.
Right, and we have actually started a journal. We did not in that particular lesson, but that seems to be working really well with them.
Yeah, because especially in high school, if they get so many points on a test, it's something they keep up with, they track, they monitor. Yeah, so I've had huge success with that. So I believe we are at the end of our observation. And are there any questions, or you think you need to ask me anything as far as strategies or student engagement?
No, it's really been going great. I've used a lot of your suggestions, and they seem to really be helping, especially like I said, using the positive reinforcement and noticing the things that my students are doing right instead of all the things that they're doing wrong, and that seems to have made a positive impact in the whole class.
Okay. Well, hopefully next time we meet, we'll have some more, and we can do some more assessments and figure out if we are improving our instructional strategies to help engage our students.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Avery.